Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10 and support the channel at the same time. It is John from Heroes and Legends. Welcome to the 5th day of official and stable previews, and we have a lot of cards to look at again today. I'm very excited about this set. This set's doing all sorts of weird things to break the mold, which I'm pretty excited about. I think Magic needs to concentrate more on innovation. This set definitely opens the door for some future innovation, and I'm very excited just for that prospect. Now, quickly before we get into today's new cards, we got a lot, so I want to go pretty quick here. I just want to say real fast, if you check out the description below, you're going to find a few ways to support us and what we do here at the channel. You'll find our Patreon page. You're going to find a link to some products on Amazon. If you make any purchases there, we'll get a small percentage. And finally, a link to Flipside Gaming. They have given a promo code for our viewers. You can pre-order Unstable. Iconic Masters actually is released today. There's a whole lot of things going on. So check it out. Maybe you can save some money. With that being said, let's get into it. We got a lot of cards to talk about. Why not start off with an augment card, right? This is half kitten, half. So if you did not see yesterday's video or hear anything about these augment cards, I would suggest you check out yesterday's preview video to get the full rundown of the rules and such with these cards. Because if you don't know what these do, you're probably looking at this like, what am I looking at right now? So for those of you who did see the video yesterday and kind of know the rundown, I'll just kind of go quickly here. Half kitten, half is a creature cat. It's an uncommon. This is a white card. Whenever you're dealt damage, to be continued, +1, +2, and the augment cost for this one is a white in 2. We also got to look at another one of the host creatures. This is Ordinary Pony. A white and 2 host creature horse, common. When this enters the battlefield, you may exile target non-horse creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control, 2/3. And they showed us the two of those cards together, so here they are, half kitten, half pony together. And in that case, you got yourself a cat horse. So there you have it. I'm really excited about the Jumble Morph mechanic, just generally. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to sit down and play with. And looking forward to seeing more of the cards as well. Here's one more. This is a half squirrel, half. This was presented at PAX today, so the picture is kind of grainy, unfortunately, but it is a green uncommon creature squirrel. Its power toughness box is actually -1, -0, so it makes whatever it is augmenting a little bit smaller. And whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, that's actually a pretty good clause, because that could lead to a lot of big plays, I think. And the augment cost for this is 1 green. So pretty sweet. Our next preview card is Amateur Autor, and this is actually kind of sweet. It's a 2 casting cost, a white and 1, human, common, 2/2, sacrifice this, destroy target enchantment. So it's kind of a bear with upside, like nothing special, but 2 drops are very important, especially if you're playing limited, which a lot of the time you may be playing limited with this set. And beyond that, the flavor text is amazing. Ravnica the Musical, check out those lyrics. Yeah, that's actually pretty awesome. So well done with this card. Very cryptic command. Okay, 3 blue and 1. It's an instant rare. Choose 2. Untap 2 target permanents. Tap each permanent target player controls with exactly 1 word in its name. Discard all the cards in your hand, then draw that many cards. Return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. So this is similar in a lot of ways to Cryptic Command, and the power level of the card is actually quite decent considering it has the same casting cost and you're still choosing 2. The options are slightly different, of course, but versatility is a good thing, and I think this card actually can be very powerful within the limited scene, or if I was trying to do maybe a partial silver bordered cube or something, this feels like it's still a really good card for me. So beyond that, the art is amazing. I love the take on the original Cryptic Command art, so really great parody card here. Old-fashioned Vampire, 2 black and 3, Vampire uncommon, 3/3 with flying. This will get +2/+2 in Death Touch as long as it's dark outdoors. Okay, so that's actually a good creature. 5 casting costs, 5/5 flyer with Death Touch? Yeah, that's phenomenal. But if it's not dark outside, then it's only a 3/3 for 5 with flying, which isn't as good. So, yeah, it's playable probably, especially in the limited environment, but you really want it to be nighttime. Then you really have a powerful creature on your hands for 5 mana. So, not really sure what constitutes as dark outside. I guess if there's a discrepancy, you can always look at the official sunset time in your area. But there you go. I'm sure there'll be some ruling on that in the future. Over My Dead Bodies. This is 2 black and 4 enchantment. It's a rare. Creature cards in graveyards can attack and block as though they were on the battlefield. Can block or be blocked only by creature cards in graveyards. are zombies in addition to their other types, and have Undeath Touch. If they would deal damage to a creature card, exile that creature card instead. Creature cards in your graveyard have haste. Okay, so you're paying 6, and it's kind of a confusing card probably until you wrap your head around it, but I've thought about it a little bit and reread it a couple times. So basically what happens is you're creating a secondary combat zone for everybody's creatures that are in the graveyard. They can only interact with each other, and if they touch each other, then they get exiled, basically. But if you're able to abuse this with like some mill or something, for example, let's say you self-mill, get a bunch of creatures in your graveyard pretty early, play this on turn 6 or something like that. Now you have a bunch of creatures in this side game that might not be able to be blocked by a whole lot of things if you kind of outrun your opponent for how many creatures are in your graveyard. Maybe you complement that with some removal spells that actually exile creatures. And who knows, that could be some sort of casual fun deck or something like that on your hands. And maybe even a complement to a commander strategy, again, considering that these aren't Black Border legal cards or anything like that. But if your play group's okay with you playing some of these, that could be interesting. So I like the idea. The concept is really cool, and you can probably do some really fun interactions with this card, quite honestly. Hammer Jammer. This costs a red and 3. It's a Goblin Warrior uncommon. As this enters the battlefield, roll a 6-sided die. When this enters the battlefield, then it will have +1/+1 counters equal to the results. However, whenever you roll a die, you remove those counters and you put on the new amount that was rolled with that die. So now notice it does say whenever you roll a die, so it's not a 6-sided die necessarily. If you're rolling something different, some cards do constitute that, then you might have an opportunity to make this actually bigger. I think that's where this card gets good because I'm not super thrilled about it when I roll a 6-sided die. In the high variance, if I have other cards where I'm rolling 6-sided dies in my deck, then this thing's going to keep changing. Now, the good news is when you're paying 4 mana for something, like 3 is kind of on par for like limited. 4 is actually pretty good. So if I were to get a 4/4 for 4, that's actually a little ahead of curve. A 5/5 for 4 is fantastic. A 6/6 for 4 is amazing, right? The only time you really lose is if you roll a 1 or a 2, basically. Then you're overpaying for what you have, and you hopefully get a chance to roll again at some point. And like I said, it doesn't specify next time around it has to be a 6-sided die. So if you're rolling a different die, maybe a 20-sided or something like that, well, that's a little bit different. Then, of course, the odds of this becoming really good are a lot stronger. It doesn't have evasion or anything. But it's an interesting card. Again, you can play around with this a little bit. It does interact with some other things pretty well. And in a vacuum, it's not the worst thing in the world either. Target Minotaur. This is a real simple common. It's a red and 1 Minotaur Warrior, 2/1 with prowess. Not too much more to say about it. Again, it's really the art, the flavor text that really makes the card pop. Beast and Show. Another simple one, 2 green and 4. It's a beast with trample, and it's a common 6/4. Little disappointing stats. I mean, I think we're pretty used to 6/6 tramplers for 6 nowadays. And this particular set, everything seems pretty push power level wise. So it's a little weird to see something behind curve like this. Probably runnable if you need it, but there will be times it could be blocked probably by 2/2s, for example, and it won't be that exciting. Willing Test Subject. Okay, this is a green and 2. Spider Monkey Scientist, common, 2/2 with reach. Whenever you roll a 4 or higher on a die, put a +1/+1 counter on Willing Test Subject. Pay 6, roll a 6-sided die. So you have an opportunity to do that as a mana sink too. 2/2 with reach for 3. I think that's actually good. And then you attach the other ability on it. And it's a fine card to run in limited. If you have a lot of ways to roll dice, then okay. Maybe over time this becomes a 3/3, a 4/4. The reach is nice for green to protect yourself. So yeah, overall, you add that mana sink on top of all of that. Feels like a pretty good card. Krark's Other Thumb, of course. So this costs 2. It's a legendary artifact, uncommon. If you would roll a die, instead roll 2 of those dice and ignore 1 of those results. Okay, so that's a nice way to basically stack your deck against some of the randomness of the die rolls. I mean, it doesn't completely protect you, but it does help with the high variance of some of these cards a little bit. Thing only costs 2, so that's kind of nice. It's not a huge commitment to throw this in your deck if you have a lot of reasons to have it there. Kindslaver. Okay, of course this is a take on Mindslaver. Costs 5. It's a legendary artifact, rare. Pay 5 and tap and sacrifice. A person outside the game controls target player during that player's next turn. Neither player may advise that person until the end of that turn. So you can play it on yourself. You can play it on an opponent. I thought it was kind of interesting that it says neither player may advise that person until the end of that turn, because it kind of rules out the fact that you might be playing this in a multiplayer game. Usually they don't do that with the rules text. So I don't know, can that be interpretive that you as the person that controls the card and the person you target can't consult? Maybe the other people at the table can, I don't know. So kind of interesting. I'm sure we'll get a ruling on that at some point. But the card itself is just another fun Magic card, a parody card, obviously a Mindslaver. A little bit high variance, you don't know what that person's going to do, right? But it's pretty interesting, kind of fun. Modular Monstrosity. This costs 7, is a 3/3 artifact creature construct rare. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you have 5 seconds to choose a keyword you haven't chosen for a card named Modular Monstrosity today that's been printed on a creature card. If you do, this will gain that ability. Otherwise, it loses all keywords. So if you can't think of something fast enough, you lose all your keywords. You only have 5 seconds. But there's some powerful keywords that have been printed on creatures when you look throughout Magic's history. I mean, I'm just going to go big or go home and say Annihilator 6. So take that for what you will. But there's a lot of other good ones too. I mean, even simple things like Double Strike, anything like a Land Walk ability could potentially be good for you at different times. So, yeah, I mean, it's pretty sweet, and let me know in the comments below some of your choices for maybe your favorite abilities that you'd like to see on this creature. Proper Laboratory Attire. This costs 1, it's an artifact equipment, it's an uncommon, the creature equipped gets +2/+1, and has protection from die rolls, costs 2 to equip. So, again, I don't know how relevant this will be, we haven't seen the full set yet. But it's probably nice to have, and you know what, even if you don't need it, still, it's really cheap to activate, +2/+1, that's not bad either, so it's a playable card under certain circumstances regardless. Gift Horse, this is an artifact, it's a contraption at rare. Whenever you crank Gift Horse, roll 2 6-sided dice, create a number of 1/1 red goblin creature tokens equal to the difference between those results. Generally, contraptions have a nice power level behind them, I think, and this card is a good example of that. You don't pay an activation cost. You're just paying time because you have to wait for the right turn to come around where this particular card or any contraption is linked to the right sprocket. So you're paying time to get there, but you're not paying your mana as a resource, which is really nice. Once it's assembled, it's just there, and it's just going to happen every 3 turns, and that's actually pretty sweet. So a card like this, you could get hosed by variance, sure. But if you don't, you're getting value out of here. Even if it's just 1 token, to me, that's still value. I mean, more than that's a lot better, obviously, when that does happen. But even though there's high variance here, I do think that it's still a really good card to run. And it makes sense that this one's a rare. Inflation Station, common contraption. It's an artifact. When you crank this one, target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn. So this makes sense for a common. I mean, there's going to be times where this won't be relevant. It will come up. Maybe you don't have any creatures, or you have a creature where you're not really planning on getting into combat or anything like that. So it kind of is what it is, but you'll be happy at times when this comes around and you're ready to attack into the red zone. Quick Stick Lick Trick. It's an artifact, contraption, common. Whenever you crank Quick Stick Lick Trick, target creature gets +1/+1 and gains lifelink till end of turn. I'm going to tell you right now, this is the first take, so how about that? Now, like the card we saw a few moments ago, it's a common contraption, and there's times where the ability actually won't even matter, and that's kind of too bad, but at the same time, it is a common, and when it does matter, it will be good for you. I mean, +1/+1 on lifelink, if you're planning on attacking anyway, that could be nice. And also, too, maybe you have a fight mechanic or something like that with one of your cards, and then, wonderful, you get some value there. So there's a lot of ways to get value, it just won't happen all the time. Refibrillator. Okay, this is a rare contraption artifact, and whenever you cast this, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, again, this one being a rare, it feels a little more powerful. Getting creatures back from my graveyard to my hands, I'm excited about that. Again, especially considering I don't have to worry about an activation cost, just basically waiting for it to come around. Alright, with that being said, those are the cards for today. So, pretty excited about the whole set just generally, like I've said. Looking forward to playing with this set more and more, the more cards I see. So, previews will continue. I'm not really sure what the weekend will look like. If we get any previews, I will definitely do a video. If not, we're still going to do our Market Watch video regardless on Saturday. And then next week, I know there's going to be previews Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know if we're getting the full set on Wednesday or if they're going to save that so maybe after the holiday. I'm not really sure. I'll keep you posted, though. Anything I do find out, I will definitely report to you. So until next time, though, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.